All right, welcome back to another video. Last video, we finished up MVPNs. There's all sorts of extra detail I could have gone into. I ended up just reading a write-up on it by iNet0 instead of doing more hands-on examples. That might have been a better way to go, but there's just a lot, so I'm gonna keep it moving. And of course, I'll come back to this general topic later because I just picked out I just cherry picked a topic from that category based on a comment I received. So I'm gonna continue to do that one more time with VPNs and go directly to layer 2 VPNs and EVPN. So I will share my screen. Screen 2. All right, so I gotta make the notes folder, or the notes file rather. Okay, so here's the format I've been using. Let's think about the tags. So this is going to be VPNs, layer 2 VPNs, EVPN. So let's just do EVPN for the tag. Yeah, so let's do this. And yeah, so layer 2 VPNs, or actually this is going to be EVPN. This is going to be layer 2 VPNs. And then this is going to be VPN. VPNs. I like to get it exactly. Okay, there we go. VPNs, layer 2 VPNs, EVPN. This is the first video. So let's do the classic strategy where I try to get used to the tools that I will have available to me during the actual test. So we'll go back to the topology I was using before. We're going to need to change it around, obviously, but help apropos is still going to be the same. So help apropos, EVPN, pipe match, any line that begins with help. Nothing. Okay, so we've got VPN help. We just don't have any help reference, help topic, anything like that for VPN. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, it just doesn't have any help for EVPN. Huh. Okay, so, well, let's do plan B then. So our aim now is just to practice, so we can go to Juniper and then type in EVPN and do example. Here we go. So configuring basic EVPN, active-active multi-homing. Let's see if it gets even more basic than that and just do that one and then move on. So yep, this is specific to, so here's the EVPN user guide, perfect. Let's add that to the notes. Okay. Yep, so EVPN, you can use different kinds. You can use VXLAN, you can use MPLS, you can use VPWS, E-tree. There are, yeah, so I'm going to go with MPLS because that's a big part of this exam. So let's look at the overview. Pseudo-wire termination. So one thing that's the other documentation the other had is when you clicked into EVPN overview, they had their own sections here, which I really don't like because you can't see at a glance where all the examples are, and you can't use Control F to find them. But the good news is it looks like this guide doesn't have that. Unfortunately, it looks like it does have that here. So I'll have to keep our eyes open and check out this here. So here's a sample configuration. Yeah, so it looks like the information gets pretty complex right away. Here we go. So this looks like it's more basic. So it's really not too complicated. Well, I don't know. I wish I could get like a example or something like that. It might be buried in the extra information down here. Okay, so here's a number of examples. Yeah, let's just do kind of what I had done before, expand all. I'm gonna go example colon. And if I see anything relating to a service provider, anything like that, I'll write that down and go through with that. All right, so I'm back to the top, it looks like, so I didn't find anything. Let's look through these examples, and maybe there's just a bigger topology to that would be good practice. All right, so unfortunately, I don't see a good example provided by Juniper, but I think it might be useful just to have this link. So I definitely will post the video with this here. I'm actually going to post it with because it looks like I'm using a more, nope, I am using the main page. So yeah, you can see anything you would like to know about EVPN and expand it out and get help on that. Yeah, but it looks like there are no examples, exercises, guides, anything like that. There's just a lot of reading. And as I said before, reading can be a problem because you can read a bunch and then just have it not be relevant. Hands-on is always uh, my preference because the exam is hands-on. But of course, reading is very important. So this video is only 13 minutes in, but if it goes if it's a half an hour in and I just don't know what to do, I think at the very least I will read the overview. Of the ELAN-MPLS. At the very least, I will just read everything here because this, I think, will be on the test if the EVPN is on the test. Let's look at INET 0 and see if there's a EVPN write-up. It'd be nice if I could get one of these workbooks. You gotta buy it though. Oh, they dropped the price way down. It's only $600 now. Yeah, I mean, I made a video before where I was really upset about Juniper, and I still am really upset about them. I mean, they said that they have two different exams. They have a JNCIE 961 and a 960. So the 961, I believe, is an 8-hour format. And I can verify this because it's on their exam. I just want to get this right. Okay, so yeah, that makes more sense. The 960 and then the revised one is the 961. So the 960 is an 8-hour exam, you can see clearly here, but the 961 is a 6-hour exam. So they make it very, very unclear which exam you are signing up for. And even if you have the ability to sign up for one or the other. But it says very clearly here that this is an 8-hour format, which would lead me to believe that it is a 960 version of the exam. But for me, that would be very upsetting because I studied for the 961 version because they changed it to that. So they're really not being honest with me, and they're charging ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, this used to be like $2,000 for just a PDF of a lab topology. Like it's just I don't understand who Juniper expects to become an expert. I mean, I'm trying to do it, but I'm doing it kind of feeling used, to be honest, and feeling unsupported too. I guess that's the biggest feeling. Um, I just have no support in taking this exam. I don't know if I'm even going to have a benefit from it. Like, what does this even mean? Like, you know, I'm paying a lot. I'm investing a lot of time into this because I think it'll help my career to have a expert level certification. But you know, if they can't even update the website, and then we saw their examples in their help doc, you know, they didn't even know how to configure this stuff themselves, and now they're going to be testing me on it. It's like, well, how does that work? Okay, so it looks like they're even going to try to cheat you too when you go to sign up for the test, because they're just going to automatically include this, and then you've got to click this remove button. Yeah, and then you get this. So they make it set up to where if you're not careful about what you're actually signing up for, you can get cheated and pay for more than you intended to. So yeah, I'm really having my doubts about this exam. The easy way is not taking it, but I sometimes believe that just doing really difficult things for the sake of having done them is not always a bad thing. So I'm willing to do it. It's at this point, since my employer is not gonna, well, my employer probably wouldn't have reimbursed the fail anyway. But yeah, that's really disappointing. All right, I don't see anything for VPN. I think all of the articles are here. Oh, it looks like there's actually another page of articles. Okay, so that's everything. That wonderful ISIS write-up, I think was, yeah, right here. So, yep, there's no way to search, no nothing. So I think I'm kind of out of resources to look for on INET0, so that's not going to come through for me. I'm even thinking, I mean, I've never been to court before. I've really never talked to lawyers, but like before I take this exam, like that's a lot of money. Like I should probably get a lawyer. Like how much is it? Like because if they mess it up, if I email them and say, hey, you messed it up, Proctor didn't show up on time or something happened, and I can't get a refund. I mean, that's a lot of money to not be refunded in just the test fee and then the travel expenses. Like, I wonder if there's a way where if they just screw me over, I can take them to court. This shows you just how unsure I am about this, because this is bad. I'm sure, I mean, it's an adventure, I guess. It's an expensive adventure. I think it'll be good for my career and my, just to say I'm a JNCIE-SP. I mean, let's look at maybe see who else is certified. This is a service where they're trying to teach you. I just wanted to see, like, are there any notable people who have the JNCIE-SP now, and it really was a good decision they considered to go and have gotten that certification. Is it worth? Oh, yeah. See, this is what I'm feeling. I think anytime your brain goes to the space of, wait, do I need a lawyer before I do this? It's just not good. But I'm still planning to do it, and my brain never really went there until now. It's just with paying that much money, with there being the COVID-19. It's just like this could go so wrong, and like I just don't know if it's a smart way to go about things. And I apologize. This was meant to be a dive into EVPN to help out a commenter. Hopefully this is helpful. If commenter wasn't able to find this guide, this is going to be in the link. And I'm just going to do 4 more minutes of just feeling upset. And then I will read over the overview here, and then I'll mark this topic done and move on. Right now, I just I'm really having my doubts. My mind's kind of going to places I hadn't really thought about before. You know, what if I don't even get a chance to take the test? What if I don't get a chance to take it fairly? You know, is Juniper going to come through for me? How are they going to come through for me if that happens? And if they don't come through for me, what do I do then? Because it's a lot of, it's just a lot. Yeah, and I think most people, it takes them multiple attempts. I thought I was well prepared for the first time, but was not so pleasantly surprised at the sort of depth they went for in the exam. In the first seating, I took a while to familiarize myself with the topology given, trying to remember which routers were connected to what without having to refer to the network diagram every few minutes. So what I'm going to do for this is set up descriptions. I'm just going to look at the diagram, look at the network, and then set up descriptions. I had no idea how to solve a few of the questions. So what I'm going to do for this is help apropos just everything on the question and try to work it out that way if I have no idea how to solve the questions. But everything seemed okay in the end. Whatever that could be pinged were successfully pinged. So I walked out pretty confident that it was a pass. 2 weeks later, the result came out. It was a fail. So this is kind of upsetting to me because from what I was told, as long as you can ping everything, it's the end results, not as much as what you did to get there. So this is kind of upsetting that they would have had the end results all working but still failed. I was pretty okay with the results since it was normal for people to fail these E-level exams on the first try. I noted down the troublesome areas, upgraded the Junos in the lab to the version they used in the exam, added a few more physical interfaces to the setup, and redid all the lab exercises. I added a few lab scenarios myself to be more familiar with more complex topics. After a month or so of preparation, I decided to register for another exam seating. So they paid $1,600 with roughly 8 weeks to prepare. This time, the pressure was higher as taking these exams were not cheap, of course. Luckily, my wife was great in managing our expenses. So his wife works or something, I don't know. I am not married. So that eased things a bit. This time I felt more comfortable during the exam and asked for clarification from the proctor if I was not sure about the questions. So yeah, this is definitely something I'm planning to do as well. It was not a smooth seating though, as I made some silly mistakes in some important configs and was not able to rectify things before the proctor asked us to stop. I left the exam feeling pretty disappointed. To my surprise, when the result came out 2 weeks later, it was a pass. So this is upsetting too. I mean, it almost seems as if he wasn't given a pass or a fail based on how he did on the exam. It almost seems as if they denied him a pass just simply because he took it the first time. And just by merit of him having taken it the second time, he was given a pass. It almost seems as if they're having a pay to play where it's not about how well you perform on the test, it's about how many times you have taken the test. So if you take it one time, you are less likely to pass than if you take it a second time. It almost seems like from this story, passing the exam in the second attempt was truly a pleasant surprise. Well, 3 years later it's going to expire. I actually had been preparing to take the exam the third time when the result came out. I never thought I made the cut. It was such a relief to not have to go through the revision process again. For reference in terms of cost, I spent 4.5K for the E-level study materials and exams. So far, I've only spent 600 because I bought the lab, and then I've been using free resources. That's it. Having to dish out even more money and time would have been stressful. So this looks like this is only for the E-level study materials. So if he took the exam twice, that's 1,600. That would be another 32 K. That would be another 3.2K. So he spent 7.7K on, and then of course I guarantee you, like depending on where he took it, but if he traveled, you know, it would have been 8K for him to get this exam. So it's really, unfortunately, it seems like it's pay to play. How have things changed after that? A few congratulations were received, and then it was back to work as usual. Now, more complicated assignments land on my desk at work, which is good for experience and career development, but he didn't get any extra pay, he didn't get a promotion, he just got harder work that he might need to put in OT for, and he's probably salaried. It's also nice to understand a lot better what I am doing at work, as well as be able to provide meaningful contribution in developing the company's IP/MPLS network. Best of all, I now have more free time. Okay, so the best part of passing is he no longer has to study for it. He didn't get a pay raise. He didn't get more job opportunities. He got more work, and he got more free time. And I now have more free time at home to spend with the family and to exercise guilt-free. As a conclusion, my message to those who are aiming for the E-level exam, just go for it, guys. It will be a rewarding experience. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's a rewarding experience. It sounds like his reward was no longer having to do that. I mean, if you just stop doing that, you get that, and you get all this money back. So would you pay, you know, to have more free time with the family and to exercise instead of studying? Why do you need a JNCIE-SP to do that? You can do that without a JNCIE-SP and save yourself potentially up to $8,000 he might have spent on this thing. You know, and this is all he got is the ability to no longer work on it. It sounds like he got kind of more, perhaps more meaningful work too, but you know, he doesn't say that. He doesn't say that it's more meaningful and fulfilling and he enjoys his work better. He says that it's more complicated and that it might be good for his career development. Well, I got news for you, man. Like, if a JNCIE-SP didn't help your career development and you're banking on your more complicated assignments to do that, like, that's an issue. Like, I mean, I don't know. So this was written like 4 years ago, it looks like. So let's look this guy up on LinkedIn and see what kind of job he has. And if it's not principal engineer or something like that, that could be a pretty big problem. So it looks like Jesus, this guy is really smart. So that's another thing too. Like, you know, I don't have a bachelor's degree. And it looks like he didn't renew it, so he's back down to the IP. Oh, no, he does have it. Sweet, okay, so it's still active. So let's see what kind of job this person has. So he works at Telecom Malaysia. Are they on Glassdoor? So he's a assistant general manager. I mean, this is in a different country, so I'm not sure what living expenses these are, but I wouldn't take those numbers at face value, but it sounds like this is from like Malaysia or some other country. Let's just see what it is for. Okay, so this looks reasonable for a network engineer, but a network engineer won't require a JNCIE-SP. That you're looking at more of a network architect, a principal engineer, just a regular old network engineer making this. You know, that's we're talking a few years of experience, like 3 to 5 years of experience with the CCNA even, or maybe a CCNP if you want an edge over your competition. But this does not warrant all of the effort this person put in. And granted, this is not the job role he's in. It looks like he's an assistant manager for core IP network development, but yeah. So I guess I don't know what the deal is with this guy. But what he wrote here actually, unfortunately, has not been very encouraging to me. This is kind of a reason to not want to continue with this exam. And and I went 10 minutes over. I did say that I wanted to just read about EVPN. I kind of want to. I'm gonna leave a message. So what's his name? Effendi. Well, I'll just say his name. So hi, Effendi. Is that an I or an L? I can't even tell. It's an I. Okay. Hi, Effendi. I am working towards the JNCIE-SP right now. Do you still believe that the time and money you spent on this 4 years ago was worth it? Did you get any extra pay at your work or more lucrative opportunities? Did you get any extra pay at your work or more lucrative opportunities, or did you just simply get more complicated work by passing the exam? Okay, so hi, Effendi. I am working towards the JNCIE-SP right now. Do you still believe that the time and money you spent on this 4 years ago was worth it? Did you get any extra pay at your work or more lucrative opportunities, or did you just simply get more complicated work by passing this exam? Okay, I think that's a fair question. So I'm gonna post that. Hopefully, and then I'm gonna say congratulations on passing. Okay. All right, so yeah, I think that's gonna be good. Um, so this one is pretty classic resource. I've seen this one a bunch. So why did I take this exam? The short answer, because Unix is my favorite networking operating system, and because the syllabus is directly relevant, not only to the job I have now, but to the next steps I want to take my career. See, this is the problem. That used to be the case for me, but that is a big question mark right now. Junos is an OS I'm passionate about, and although this studying was tough, it was really a chore. Learning the protocols in that much detail was a fascinating journey, and I will never stop believing that the internet is literal magic. Okay. Here we go. Is it worth doing this? I've heard a fair number of engineers say that the answer to this question is no. Going into 2020, CIE, CCIE, and JNCIE is near worthless. Okay, so let's Google for this statement because I want to read about this. Some say the content is legacy, some say it isn't legacy, but doesn't include enough next-gen technology to be relevant. Some point to the existence of brain dump sites as something that simply invalidates the entire thing. So this, I'm not sure if this is true for the IE level, but I think this is definitely a valid argument for the NA and the lower level certs. Some say that expert level focus on theory over design leaves engineers with a highly technical but impractical mindset that prioritizes fancy, complicated solutions over simple, elegant solutions. Yep, I agree with that. I've addressed most of these points already and shown why I think the syllabus is great. As it happens, final port is that I actually do strongly agree with. But from my own personal experience, the JNCIE has been unquestionably worth it. I was actually lucky enough to chair a panel this year at Juniper's Next Work conference where I interviewed 3 multi-JNCIEs on stage. I mean, you got to remember, like, if you're talking to people who passed the exam, yeah, they're going to say it's worth it, but I don't know. See, I'd like to hear from people who were studying for it and decided not to study for it, or somebody who who failed it and decided not to retake after an attempt or 2 attempts. Like what do they have to say? Where is their career progression? Are they doing better than somebody passed it? Are they doing worse? That is what I'm interested in. Because if there's people who decided not to study for it or took it and did not retake it after they failed, and their careers are in general better than those who actually passed it, I mean, I could see that situation happening because I mean, if you just go through books online and learn the up and coming newest technologies and kind of are more flexible with what you learn about and what you know, I could see somebody being much more valuable doing that than going after a behemoth exam like this, only for it to be not relevant to most jobs and to be setting you back with money that you could have been using for other educational endeavors. So it's still up there. If you look at the job board search results, you search for a CCIE, yep, there's going to be a lot of LinkedIn jobs. But this is interesting here. We can see that there are vastly more total jobs for the CCNP, which is the one I have now. So this is kind of where I was leaning, or this is kind of what I was thinking, is that it's really, without a doubt, worth it to get your CCNP, but it might or might not be worth it to get your CCIE. And we can see that, yes, look at all these jobs you qualify for, but with the CCIE, you're only going to qualify for this many more. And granted, you'll qualify for these too, but you'll have spent extra money, you'll have spent extra time that you could have spent doing other things. And not necessarily just things you enjoy. Educational endeavors, you can learn to code really well. I mean, if I spent the lunchtime video and the after-time video just doing code challenges and learning to code, you know, in 6 months and a year and 2 years, I could be really, really better at coding than I am now. And I think that would get me a lot farther than taking an expert level exam. Yeah, see, this gets me too. It's like, one of the easiest ways to raise my suspicions in a job interview is to tell me one has multiple CCIEs in totally different fields, in some of which he or she has never actually worked. You can even dig a deeper hole by telling me that you've passed all of them in a short period of time, where short would depend on many things, including your number of years of experience. Along the same lines, but on the written test, if the pass mark is 750 and someone passes with a meager 760 on the third attempt, I will still have tremendous respect for them. You can easily make me raise an eyebrow by showing me a written score of 990 on your first CCIE written exam. See, you can get stigmatized for passing these exams. So it's like, that's just, in my mind, absolutely ridiculous. Like, if you want to get into the industry, they're not going to just let you into these jobs. Like, you need to get in there somehow. So if you show up to a job interview with multiple CCIEs but no job experience, like, to me that just means you've never been given a chance. Like, you don't just automatically get job experience. Somebody has to hire you, take a chance on you, and pay you. So it's not something people will do for just anybody, especially somebody with no prior experience. So in my opinion, if you took the effort to get multiple CCIEs, even if you did it suspiciously and perhaps cheated or something, like that's still a lot of, you know, effort going and taking the exam and getting your score and all that. Yeah, like if there's a better candidate, then yeah, obviously, but that wouldn't be something that would, in my opinion, disqualify someone from a job having the certifications for it. I mean, part of the reason I wanted to do this is I just wanted to essentially take a vacation. I wanted to have fun. I wanted to go to California, just take this damn thing, and then pass or fails, go to a nice restaurant, go see the redwoods or something like that. But restaurants are closed. California, Texas, and Florida are the epicenters of the pandemic now. So it's like traveling from Texas to California. It's like there's nothing, you know, my kind of idea of just spending a ton of money and just going out and going on an adventure and a vacation is different now. Like, yeah, it's going to be an adventure, but it's definitely not going to be a vacation. This is interesting. Oh, okay. There is no short answer here. I thought this said the short answer is no. Here's the bottom line. The CCIE will add to your employment prospects and to your earning potential. While there are many other certifications that will increase your salary, those are irrelevant to your career path. If you are going to be interacting with Cisco devices, then no other certification will stand up to the CCIE after your name. Although many of the concepts that you will learn in the CCIE are universal, their real value is realized in a Cisco shop. Yeah, so I mean, I think in my old job role where I worked at an ISP with Juniper gear and I get a passing score reimbursed, unquestionably it is worth it. It's just now that I'm in a different job role, so that I'm more able to work at home. Things are different. I'm no longer working with Junipers. I'm no longer working for ISP. I'm working for enterprise more. So it's definitely kind of a good thing to reevaluate if this is worth my time. But you know, spending an hour you know, thinking whether or not it's worth my time is a huge waste of my time, whether I want to do it or not. So unfortunately, I've only got 5 minutes left. I'm going to stop the video here, and I think I'm just going to dedicate another video to just reading this and then close out this topic at the end. So I kind of apologize for the kind of low information video. But I really don't see any good examples that I could have gone through, at least not here. So EVPN, from what I understand, it's a brand new thing. We can see this was actually published in November 19, so basically in 2020. So that's less than a year ago. So the good examples, the good stuff aren't even out yet for EVPN. So but the main things, because I had learned about this before, is a subnet mask is 304. So if you see a subnet mask 304, it's an EVPN route. And then, of course, it's just going to be another VPN, so a routing instance, but you've got to specify it as such. So yeah, I'll just do the reading in the after work video, mark this complete, and then continue on my normal progression. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.